Good day, flight simmers. Today I am going to be giving a go at passing the examination for the tailwheel endorsement. So these little planes are a little tricky to take off and land, these little tail draggers. So let's look at the briefing here. So you can pause for a minute if you want to read that. So it gives you tips for taxiing, taking off, and when landing. So what we have to do is taxi the aircraft from the parking spot to the runway, perform a tail high takeoff, that's what we'll be trying for, follow a standard traffic pattern, perform a 3-point landing, and then taxi back to the parking spot. Now the good news is Microsoft Flight Sim do not make these too difficult to pass. You can still make some mistakes and pass the certification, which is a good thing, but it's very difficult to do a perfect score on this. So I'm going to give it a try and see how I do. There's the path we're going to be taking. So what we want to try and do is get a correct altitude, stay within the path laid out here for us, and doing a good takeoff and landing. So we're ready to go for the Tailwheel Endorsement Certification. I am going to hit Alt Q just to remove everything, just to speed things up. Remove the shocks, etc. And then Shift C to get inside the aircraft, where the instructor is there who's going to, I'm not sure if you're all by yourself. Yeah, you're all by yourself unless they're in the back. Oh, that could be them. Going to do the certification assessment. Okay, so Control E will start this aircraft up. Now you can, it does have autopilot, I believe. Yeah, some of these settings here you can use vertical speed and what have you, but I find you probably really don't need it for a short certification like this. Control E.
As covered in our briefing, we'll be performing a standard traffic pattern around Miami's Kalina Airport with the Cub Crafters X-Cub. Remember that taildraggers do not behave in the same way as tricycle-geared aircraft while taxiing, taking off, and landing. Try to maintain center line and anticipate rear-wheel drift while turning on the taxiway. Keep your speed low while taxiing and brake progressively while pitching back once you land to avoid flipping the aircraft over. Remember that once you get some speed on the runway, you will want to lift the tail of the aircraft by gently pushing forward on the stick. Once you are on the main gear and reach rotation speed, start gently pitching back to take off. Keep your feet on the rudder to brace for left-turning tendencies.
Okay, I'm just going to hit this little button here to get our primary flight display up. So it's a little tricky. We're going to find that out, and I'll see how I do. Not my favorite planes, but...
Kilo Lima November Alpha Traffic. Cub Crafters November 24491 is taxiing to runway 10, Kilo Lima November Alpha.
Now you do get scored for how well you follow the taxi line, and believe me, it's difficult to get a really good score on that. They seem to be very critical. I'm going to release the parking brake and turn this to the right and see if I can pick up those markers. And also you have to control your taxi speed. Now if you pull back, it helps to keep that tail wheel down. Puts a little pressure on it, so I'm pulling back on the yoke right now. We're going to use flaps to take off and flaps to land. So right now I've got it on idle. Also try and follow that yellow line as carefully as you can. Don't brake too hard. It tends to do a nosedive. If you're going too fast and you brake hard, you'll nose plant and smash your propeller and fail the exam. Okay, so I'm going to put the flaps down now. That does help slow the aircraft down a bit too, so it doesn't taxi too fast. You can see my speed down on the left there. It looks like I'm going 11 knots right now. Just going to gently apply the brakes. It's very dicey trying to get this thing not to rock back and forth. I find takeoff is difficult and landing in this aircraft. So we've got to pull up here and stop, hold short, or we'll get a penalty if we don't do that properly. Well, it's all part of passing the different steps. Okay, that worked. So I'm going to press enter now.
Kilo Lima November Alpha traffic. Cub Crafters November 24491. Taking off runway 10. Right close traffic, Kilo Lima and November Alpha.
Okay, I can enter the runway now. Just keep an eye on your mission steps there. There's certain things you have to complete. So they said push forward a little bit on the yoke to lift that tail up on takeoff. So I know it's not going to necessarily be that easy. Line. Very wobbly. Okay, line her up. Okay, now I'm going to give it some throttle. And I'm going to push forward a bit. See if I can get that tail up. Okay. Okay. Up I go. Yeah, I guess I didn't do that 100%. So anyway, I thought I had it lifted up. Okay, I'm going to bring up the flaps and do the initial climb. So I'm not looking for a perfect video. I just want to show you the issues that you'll have and the mistakes that I make and how it'll affect whether you pass or fail. So I'm going to go inside the aircraft now and try and stay within these boxes. So very sensitive right now, as you can see. Rocking back and forth, but try and get the 1,000 feet they're asking for and stay within these boxes markers if you have them turned on. Okay, so we can turn now. If you look at the compass, you'll see the route that we have to follow. So I'm just going to cut back the speed a bit here. So it's a pretty quick loop around the airport to land. So the toughest part I find with this aircraft is just the land and the takeoff. So I've got my speed down to 65 knots right now. I want to get it down pretty low for landing. Just fly to base here and then I'll turn. So just going to announce my position. So that completed that step.
Kilo Lima November Alpha traffic. Cub Crafters November 24491. 1 miles northwest, 1100. Inbound to land. Runway 10. Kilo Lima November Alpha.
Okay, watch your airspeed. So they want me to do a 3-wheel landing. So we'll do an exterior view and see if I can land it from outside the aircraft. See how we're doing. Get to final, I'm going to turn. There we go. So now
Try to land by making contact with all 3 wheels at the same time.
So I've got to get my speed down because we're
Kilo
descending.
Lima November Alpha traffic. Cub Crafters November 24491 is on final. Runway 10 to land. Kilo Lima November Alpha.
See how I do here. Get those flaps down again. Now, as soon as I land, I have to put the flaps up, or this thing will be hard to control. And I'm a little bit high there. Cut back. See if I can do a nice 3-point landing here. Okay, get the flaps up and pull back a bit on the yoke. It'll help stabilize the aircraft. Okay, put the brakes on. Yeah, you don't want to brake as soon as you land because you're going to end up planting the nose. So I'm just going real easy on the brakes, pulling back on the yoke to bring that tail wing up. Turn slowly. Everything you have to do once you're on the ground it has to be done slowly with this aircraft. All right. So you can try this exam as many times as you want once you pay for it. So don't worry the first time if you're not successful. You've got to get this hold short to go off. It wants to go a little bit further. So it's on idle and it's still creep ahead. Problem with that is if you go too far, they penalize you. Okay, so
Kilo Lima November Alpha traffic. Cub Crafters November 24491 is taxiing to parking. Kilo Lima November Alpha.
okay, let's get back to parking and find out what our instructor thought. See if we made our certification. So it's on idle right now. Try and follow these taxi lines as closely as possible. Okay, so we're doing 7 knots. Try not to exceed 30 knots when you're taxiing. A little bit off that yellow line. I don't know if that's going to be an issue or not. It's a little hard to see it sometimes because the plane actually blocks the line. Okay, I'm doing 10 knots, so I've got to be careful I don't go too fast. Okay, slow down and get ready to go into our parking spot. The guy there ready to wave us on. Okay, whoa. Try not to tip this thing over. Okay, there we go. All right, put your parking brake on and just do the Control-Shift-E key to shut her down and get your score.
Great flying today. You've clearly shown that you have what it takes to fly taildraggers and did so like a pro.
Okay, like I said, they're pretty liberal. Okay, so plane handling was 93%. Respect traffic pattern altitude, well, I wasn't perfect on that, but still got 86. Traffic pattern 100%. Plane handling didn't do too bad. I would say that takeoff, I got a little warning there on the takeoff, but the takeoff and landing scored okay. So pretty generous. Passed the exam. So thank you very much. I hope this helped out a bit. If you're interested in taking this Tailwheel Endorsement Examination. So if you liked the video, please do a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks once again, and catch you next time, Flight Simmers.